As of the release of this video, LucasArts has been rebranded as Lucasfilm Games. At the time of recording, the company was still known as LucasArts. I likely won't refer to LucasArts as Lucasfilm Games in future videos, as LucasArts hasn't been an actual game studio since 2013 and only exists now to license and brand games featuring Lucasfilm IPs. With that out of the way, on to today's review. Today, we'll be exploring Star Wars Rogue Squadron, developed by Factor 5 and published by LucasArts in 1998 for Nintendo 64 and Windows PC. With Star Wars gaining popularity on PCs in the 90s, it was only a matter of time before the success of the iconic space opera came to consoles. LucasArts had some success on the Super Nintendo with their difficult but well-regarded Super Star Wars series in the early 90s, but it was in the late 90s that Star Wars games on consoles really began to hit their stride, with new stories with which to explore the already expansive galaxy. The PlayStation and Dreamcast each had their share of Star Wars games, but the best console for Star Wars games was arguably the Nintendo 64. This console played host to the action game Shadows of the Empire, the prequel-based Episode I racer, and one of the best games for both Star Wars and the N64, Rogue Squadron. Getting to fly the iconic ships of Star Wars is nothing new here. Ever since Atari's years with the license, players had been able to fly X-Wings, T-47s, and the Millennium Falcon against the Empire. When Lucasfilm got the game rights to Star Wars back, one of the first things they did was make an in-depth flight sim centered around the X-Wings. This was followed by a sequel that placed you in the cockpit of the Imperial TIE Fighter, one that's held in high regards amongst Star Wars fans. Rogue Squadron contrasts with X-Wing and TIE Fighter by providing a more casual, arcade experience to satisfy the console audience. For this game, LucasArts partnered with the newly established American branch of German studio Factor 5, a partnership that would prove fruitful in the years to come. The game's story is set between episodes 4 and 5. He plays Luke Skywalker, who is no longer the boy you met on Tatooine, nor is he the Jedi who would become in Empire Strikes Back. It is at this midpoint that Luke, fresh off the destruction of the Death Star, takes command of the Rogue Squadron, with fellow Battle of Yavin survivor Wedge Antilles serving as second in command. With R2-D2 at your side, you will follow the Rogue Squadron through their early battles against the Empire. However, the game's narrative doesn't mesh flawlessly with other Star Wars media. For example, Battle of Corellia apparently depicts Crix Madine's defection, despite it already taking place on Oronakra in Dark Forces. One thing I will say is that the story feels better woven into the game, with it being conveyed through in-engine cutscenes woven into the levels as opposed to the pre-rendered ones of older games. One of the best parts of the game is its variety. You'll fly not only the X-Wing Starfighter, but also the Y-Wing Bomber, A-Wing Starfighter, the V-Wing Airspeeder, and the T-47 Airspeeder, each with awesome detail. You are assigned certain craft for each mission, forcing you to adapt to the playstyles of different ships. A-Wings are faster but have weaker shields, while Y-Wings are slower and can take more damage. The levels themselves take you to locations across the Star Wars galaxy. Familiar ones like Tatooine, somewhat familiar ones like Corellia, and unfamiliar ones give plenty of variety. These levels get progressively more difficult as the game progresses, with some notoriously difficult ones late in the game. Honestly, I rarely play flying games, so I had some difficulty with this one, but I still found great satisfaction in chasing down TIE fighters and walkers to complete my objectives. Each ship is equipped with both primary and secondary weapons, such as missiles. Of course, the game wouldn't be complete without being able to bring down AT-ATs with the T-47's tow cable. You can also do things like link together blasts for slower but more powerful attacks, and close the S-foils on the X-Wing for a burst of speed. If you meet certain requirements for each level, you will earn a medal. These medals help give the game more replay value, unlocking additional ships for their respective levels, giving the players a new experience. You can also unlock ships via cheat codes. Factor 5 even hid in the N1 Starfighter from the then yet-to-be-released Episode 1 The Phantom Menace in the game. The game saw a PC port later that year. This version offers up additional control options. If you happen to have an old computer with support for force feedback joysticks, then that definitely ups the immersion. As for playing it on a new computer, your best bet is the version available for purchase on GOG, which is easier to get working than trying to install it off the original disc. I couldn't get my Xbox One controller to work with it, so I was stuck with the keyboard and mouse. This option works, but doesn't quite feel optimal, with the mouse feeling slightly sluggish. The other option is emulating the N64 version. Be warned, if you're using RetroArch's N64 cores, this particular game can be difficult to run properly if you're using weaker hardware. If looking for a physical cartridge, keep in mind that the N64 expansion pack, while not required, is recommended for higher res textures. Whichever way you experience it, I'd say Rogue Squadron is worth a look for Star Wars fans. Hi guys, it's Matthew Rohde. Thank you for watching this review. If you like Star Wars, please take a look at my sister's channel. There are a few Star Wars videos, as well as some supernatural content if you're into that. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications.